up. Talk trash, better back it up. I'ma make my money while they laugh at us.
What is going on, guys? You're tuning into Inventing Entrepreneurs, a show where we bring on emerging entrepreneurs to talk about them inventing their vision of success. I'm your host, at Brian Invents, joined by my co-host, John Kappel. Oscar couldn't make it tonight.
Hope he's having a good time. His girlfriend's sick.
Yeah, his girlfriend's not feeling well.
Follow me on Instagram, by the way, just_John44 at the handle for TicketYum, at TicketYum, if we're going to shout out brands real quick, you know. Here in the studio with Elijah Tyson, founder of Hustle Aesthetics, CEO of ColdSpace LLC. How's it going, man? Welcome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys for inviting me here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. This is a new studio. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. We are no longer in my dining room.
We're now upgraded to the studio. What do you think?
I love it, man.
Love it.
This speaks entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, if you look
lighting.
around, we got like 5 different lights here. So
Got that primo lighting. Yeah, shout out to that.
You're getting it.
All right, man. So thanks for coming on again. Tell us a little bit about yourself, just to start.
Yeah, sure. So, as you guys already said, I'm the founder of ColdSpace LLC, as well as Hustle Aesthetic Fitness. I'm from Long Island. Came to Buffalo to go to University of Buffalo.
Shout out to UB.
You already know. Just graduated with my business administration degree, concentration in marketing, and now I'm kind of just chasing the entrepreneurial dream, getting
awesome.
it going.
So you're doing pretty good.
I'm doing all right.
For the start.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
I'm moving.
I have a question for both of you, actually. So you both went to school for business, graduated with business.
Useless.
True that.
That's your answer.
Useless.
Yes.
Do you think any of the concepts are important, like accounting or...
No.
No?
I think what concept is important in getting people to do things for you and learn how to be resourceful.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
Resourceful.
And learning how to build. College teaches you how to. It puts you in a position to build relationships with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what business
That's
is.
my
And
biggest takeaway
I was
from it.
saying last podcast that it's not like what your degree is, it's what you do with your degree and what you can build that upon that
Right.
degree. Because what you learn in school is just the basics. Like, you're not gonna
yeah.
like everything in school. Like I learned some like
Right.
basic stuff, but I had to build on top of that to
Absolutely.
know what I know.
Yeah, I took accounting. I know for sure I'm gonna hire an accountant. I'm never
Right.
touching that.
I got QuickBooks. I don't have it.
Exactly.
So
right.
what do you see your guys like people that graduated with you? What do you see them doing? Are they all starting businesses too, or are they just
I mean, me, not so much, really. I have my partner that I graduated with, Nick. Shout out, Nick, wherever you are in New York City, hanging out. But really, not a lot of people. A lot of people are looking for those jobs right out of college, right?
Yeah,
not a lot of people
what
looking
kind of
to take
jobs
that
are they
step.
getting though? Accounting or managing?
Corporate accounting, finance.
Everybody
like
at
it sucks.
Citigroup.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah. Those
Everyone's at Citigroup.
kind of
Everyone's at
jobs
Citigroup.
that you hate, and then you start reminiscing about college. The first,
Right. I still
the
reminisce about college. It's fine.
Yeah,
But
but
take your mic away a little tiny bit.
not to say anything is wrong
Quality
with
over
that.
everything.
Yeah.
Not to say anything is wrong with that. But
Nothing wrong with that. Exactly. And a lot of people do, you can move up in a business, they can do stuff like that, but it's
Yeah,
just not for
absolutely.
us.
Yeah. I read a post by Stephen Key. He's a like really good guy to follow if you're into licensing for inventing.
Okay.
But
What's his name again?
Stephen Key. He writes for Forbes too for
Stephen
inventing.
Key. Okay.
So I follow him. But he said yesterday, if you find yourself being unmanageable, you may just be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Right.
true because I'm not manageable. Like even my
All right.
my
Once you have your
last
first
job,
little taste of
my
not
boss is
working
like, you
for somebody.
can't manage him. Like he's not manageable. I don't think
Oscar
something
last
wrong
week,
with me. But
everybody in a suit works for somebody in sweatpants, and that's like the
Pretty
major
much,
key,
yeah.
yeah.
Agreed.
So let's dive into more of what you do, and
Right.
what you're
Absolutely.
about.
Exactly.
So your first company we talked about, what exactly is it?
Hustle Aesthetic. So I'm a fitness trainer. I created a platform called Hustle Aesthetic to create fitness transformations for entrepreneurs. So essentially, in a perfect
For entrepreneurs.
for entrepreneurs,
Okay, cool.
and
Alright.
busy, time pressed professionals. Just for the fact that I was training a demographic of those kind of people,
Right.
and I became an entrepreneur myself, and I started to really realize how intimate my relationship with my health
Right.
was, because you know how it is when you're cranking out them late night hours,
Yeah.
and having energy versus no energy.
Absolutely.
Today's the
and-
first day I went to the gym in like
Right.
2 months.
Feels
because
good
I
though,
finally
right?
had time.
no,
Yeah,
right.
It's
When you work
I
out,
go to
you
the
eat
gym
healthier,
4:30
too.
every. I wake
the
up at
key,
4:30
right?
every single morning. Hit the gym by 5.
That's the
get out
first thing
by
I've learned
6.
about entrepreneurs is that you wake up in the morning, you get your routine, you wake up,
Yep.
coffee, gym.
That's how I crank out my 18-hour days of straight work.
Nice. Very
you know,
good.
it's a very intimate relationship with me. It plays into my health,
Yeah.
my energy, my confidence.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but me, if I don't work out first thing in the morning, I don't work out for
Nah,
the day. Because
yeah,
then
it's
so
hard
your
to-
day
yeah,
started,
right.
things start popping up.
That's why I do it so early. in the
Yeah.
morning,
Okay,
You know?
cool.
And
So you found something you're passionate about, which is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and pretty much the message behind my Hustle Aesthetic fitness platform is that you don't have to trade your health for success. Like we're all sitting here having beers, which is fine, but we get this impression that because of being an entrepreneur, you got to crank out those late nights. You're not going to live like the regular person, but you don't have to crank out all these late nights and put in all this work for the next 10 years just to come out successful and have all this chronic disease be the next journey in your life.
Right. There's more to it than building this. Health is important. Absolutely.
And we also we're millennials, so we live in a generation where now we're more about aligning our values and our work and our careers. So with that, it's like you might as well align with your health with it, so you can get the biggest bang for your buck out of your life. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it.
People now are like so involved with like quality of life and everything,
absolutely.
and it's about freaking time. You know?
I think what the most important thing is finding what you're passionate about and what makes you happy. Because me, for a while, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, and then once I started getting into 3D printing and I figured out how it makes me happy and like what I like doing, like my work doesn't even feel like work. Like my businesses, they don't even feel like I'm working.
Right, exactly.
Like, I do it around the clock and I don't feel like I'm working.
And that's I was just telling, having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. There's no such thing as balance. There's only alignment, right?
Right.
Until you find what really speaks to your values and what you really have a passion for, you're always going to be unbalanced, right? If you're just doing work and you're doing a lot of it and you're spending a lot of time on it, but it's not something you want to be doing, you're going to feel like, oh, work, my life is just work. But when you're doing something that aligns with your values and in your inner core and your inner passion, then you're just living life.
Exactly.
You know,
you're having
once
fun
you have
while
that,
you're working.
yeah, exactly. Once you have that alignment, burning out is way easier for a person who feels unbalanced versus a person who 100%.
Absolutely.
Feels
I was a manager at Target for 2 years before I moved back to Buffalo, and that just sucked. I mean, the days were long, but like when you hate it, when you hate something that you do,
it goes even longer.
Exactly.
And you're just waiting for time to go, and you're like, how I think about it, I'm like, I could be doing something else, fulfilling my life. Like I'm just kind of, wasting time right now to just get through it. And I'm not like, it's a waste of time in my life. Like, cause you only have so much time on this earth,
for 8 to 10 hours of your day, you're not all connected between your mind, body, and soul.
Right. Exactly.
Right? And it's like that drains you. That gets you off balance.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So other than hustle aesthetics, what else do you do?
Going more into the hustle aesthetics.
Okay, let's go.
Sorry.
You got some more questions. Let's do it.
I have some more questions. So how long have you been doing it, and have you monetized it?
I have monetized it.
Cool.
I create 12-week coaching programs.
Nice.
That are fully holistic coaching programs. So you get this facade in fitness that once you enter in this transformation, you have to put hours and hours upon a week into it. You gotta like take pictures of your meal prep food every Sunday and put a stack on Instagram. You gotta be counting on your macros, and quite honestly, it's so bullshit to me.
How important are your macros? Are they? Because
if you're doing a bodybuilding competition, they are very important.
Okay.
If you're just trying to be feel confident.
I'm just trying to look up for the girls.
Trying to get the washboard popping. Maybe a shredded 6-pack is not attainable at the moment. But you want to get the washboard popping. You want to lose
the washboard.
You don't want to grow into like a Trump chin, whatever. You just want to feel good. You want to feel confident, feel good, feel lean.
So you're saying I should stop eating McDonald's and Wendy's and
absolutely.
I'm saying
that we should be having green smoothies in this podcast.
Yeah,
done. Next week we're gonna have green smoothies.
I try my best, but like how it is. Like sometimes when you're working like until 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I only got like 3 hours of sleep. I don't have time.
Should
to
I eat in the past 12 hours?
I need to just get something on the go.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. That's the problem. There's no stress.
What's your key?
Intermittent fasting. That's one. I started intermittent fasting.
I have something funny to say about that because, what's that? Terry Crews? Is that his name? The big giant guy from White Chicks?
White Chicks, yeah. And everything else.
He said that he fasts and he doesn't eat before 2 o'clock. He only eats between the hours of 2 and 8, and it better be a good meal because he waited all day to get that meal. And I tried doing that, and I lost weight, and it actually feels good being hungry. It's weird,
but here it's good to eat breakfast.
It feels good, especially if you work out early in the morning.
Okay, misconception. Let's hear it.
Me being an expert here, that is a total myth. What kicks your metabolism in the morning is exercise, not breakfast.
Yeah. Okay. So you start with a workout, fast all day until you can't even go anymore, until you start passing out.
Pretty much. I don't know about I can't co-sign a pass.
1-2 o'clock. Like when I started doing that, I felt amazing, and then a lot of people tell me like that's not good for you.
Check this out, man. I fasted today, right? So me having these empty calories. What time is it right now? It's 8 o'clock. It's 8:15. I got till 10:15 to eat because I started my first meal around like 2:15 p.m.
Really? Wow.
So what that?
I'm about to try that tomorrow.
Here's the value proposition of my
right. Yeah, so we want to know. All the viewers want to know the value behind it.
It's saving people time, energy, And it's giving you an ease of mind, right? I create a fully all-encompass coaching platform where I give you a meal plan, your structure, as well as your workouts. Workouts are designed for the days that you don't got time to get in the gym. You'll need to do something at home versus the days you do got time in the gym. Also, in terms of my nutrition structure, I'm not, again, you intermittent fasting allows you to say, you know what? After work, I run a podcast where I'm going to have everybody have beer. Yeah. Well, I'm consuming these calories, and technically I shouldn't be really, my trainer says I shouldn't really have beer. Well, check it out. Now that you're within your eating block, even though you're consuming empty calories, it's still within your eating block. Right. So now you have this period of time where you're only digesting food, which is not all day, which means your insulin levels aren't shooting up all day. And let me tell you the reason I actually started intermittent fasting. I'm about 9% body fat. I never needed to lose weight. I started intermittent fasting because of energy. Because when I started cranking out these entrepreneurial days, once I really started monetizing my company and cold calling and walking around in random businesses trying to get business, and I'm pulling out these 18-hour, 20-hour days, I'm like, I have to have energy. And what I realized is that when you eat high processed carbs or carbs in the morning, all it does is shoot your insulin levels up and you get real tired around midday.
So that's why they say eat carbs in the morning, because they'll give you energy, but then it drops you down.
Right. Then it shoots your insulin levels up, and then your glucose comes and recovers it, and then it drops back down.
Do you drink coffee?
I just recently stopped drinking coffee because I found out that Daily Planet right next to my house has matcha, which is a more sustainable, longer lasting coffee, and it's not as acidic as coffee. Coffee just like destroys my stomach, so I don't drink coffee. No.
So I had a heart condition. I have one. I have SVT, so I can't really drink coffee, caffeine. I'm not supposed to drink alcohol. I do anyway, but I stopped drinking coffee about a year and a half ago. And at first it was tough for maybe a week, and then after that I found myself getting the energy naturally.
Yeah,
and I don't need
supposed to be. That's what you're supposed to be.
The body's supposed to just do its thing,
I started drinking coffee because it was a trend.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely. Oh, you got to eat the coffee. Boom! Now you're just
addicting.
Coffee.
It's a culture thing.
Yeah,
it's
America.
But I feel like I'm better off without it. Like I have I had Starbucks today.
But those are my coffee.
So it's the matcha.
Yeah, matchas, yes.
Absolutely.
So when I fast, I allow myself to have a green smoothie. Depending on the ingredients I put in, it has a very low glycemic index. It shoots my energy levels up, makes me feel good, and it's actually absolutely great for your body, gut health, brain, all that stuff. Or I have water. Or I have matcha. That's it, really.
So you have me sold on this.
Good to know. Absolutely.
So
like I said, next week, green smoothies. We're gonna do it. Absolutely.
Do you have how does this work? Do people pay you monthly? Is it a set price, or is it depending on the person and what they're looking to do?
Usually depending on the person and what they're looking to do,
so
as well as
specialized to that person.
But usually I have a specific program that I release. Like this week, I'm actually releasing my new program called the Hustle Body. It's a 12-week program. It's designed to give you.
And they pay in full for the full 12 weeks, or they
they pay in full for the full 12 weeks.
And they can keep reusing that same thing every 12 weeks.
Let's say they can progress onto different programs or go into like a more of like a sustainable maintenance program and so on. So there's different options.
I'm gonna try that
after that. But essentially, here's the biggest part of my here's what I tell people. I save them time, right? You got work to worry about and your business to worry about all day, right?
Absolutely.
The biggest part of being an entrepreneurial time-pressed person is like you would love to be exercising every day and be sexy, right? But you just don't have that time in your mind,
right?
You don't have
people
the space
judge you too by your looks. Like
Absolutely.
if you're fat and you're trying to do business with someone,
it's
or
crazy
you're doing
how
a pitch,
they
like no one will listen to you.
Right?
It's
they're just like
I've always had the mentality: if you can't take care of your body, you can't take care of your business.
Right.
But now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, shit, I've been saying that, but now like I can't even go to the gym.
Can I utilize that, or you?
That's all you.
I can't take your body. That's absolutely.
You can't take care of your body. You can't take care of your business.
Absolutely, you got to make time.
And like I used to always live by that, but lately I've been barely going to the gym, and I feel like a hypcrite for it.
I wish we lived closer together. We're trying to get workout buddies.
Yeah, man. But essentially, what I do is so with my all-encompass program, I utilize a software that lets me personally brand my own app.
Okay.
With my own app, I schedule in real time all of their workouts. They have their meal plan right at their fingertips at all times. I give them an eat this, not that for local restaurants, especially like places like Starbucks, Panera, Chipotle. No matter where you go in the country, there's gonna be a Starbucks, Panera, Chipotle.
Absolutely.
So I created eat this, not that for those three places.
Okay, cool.
And what it allows them to do is, you have scheduled workouts. So instead of thinking, oh, what the hell am I going to do when I get in the gym today? That's already set for you, right?
You
have to, on an accountability basis, like you have to check into those workouts. As soon as you check in, I'm getting an alert on my Apple Watch. So it allows me to keep you accountable throughout the 12 weeks, like what's going on. It's flexible. So instead of just applying for the, a Beachbody program, getting a PDF and expecting to print it and then come talk to them 12 weeks later when you're supposed to get results.
Right. It's more personal.
Everything is real
Contact
time.
All the time.
You can move workouts around, like schedule workouts. Hey man, I had a pop-up meeting with this investor today. That was not important.
Right.
Can I move it over tomorrow morning? Yeah, no problem. Go ahead. You know,
Right.
keep you accountable and really just give you an ease of mind. That's the biggest thing.
Working out 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 4 days a week.
I require 3 days a week.
that's it?
One day is a stack where you're going to be
Done.
doing. So depending on the program, the way it starts is you get this program. I say, okay, what is a part of the body you want to work on the most? You might say it's the core. You might say chicks are going to usually say the butt, the hips. So I'm going to say, okay, you're going to have a weekend stack where you go to the gym, and it's going to be like your hour and a half. Workout where you're working a stack circuit, muscle building, but then you're gonna have metabolic high intensity intervals, usually scheduled just at home during the week, so that way you can just crank them out.
Right.
And as long as you do good nutrition, you can add on, like if you got extra time to do workouts, you want to go take a class in Orange Theory or the gym or anything like that. So it's very flexible. And the average result is in 12 weeks, anywhere from 12 to 20 pounds, toning up. Wow. And just, again, you're not counting carbs. You're not cutting carbs. You're not counting macros. You're not scaling your food. So it's a lifestyle, something that you can actually continue
It's
to
just going to the gym, making it a part
all
of
my
your
clients
habit.
that finish my programs are still utilizing the same concept that I've taught them.
That's the most important part,
That's
right?
what matters to me.
Absolutely, because then they're telling their friends that's working.
Right.
They're reusing it, which is most
Absolutely.
important.
It's a lot different than a lot of the programs I've seen. But it's definitely a lot of time out of your day, which is awesome.
Yeah.
As far as like, you're
saving
not
a lot of people.
scheming people and just saying, hey, just follow this thing and just keep sending it out every single time. You actually care about.
Right.
No, that's what
real time.
again, that's where the alignment comes, and I do that because I knew as a trainer I seen a fault, and I can give this person a great training session, but what happens when they go home and for the other 6 days of the week they eat like garbage and you don't work out? I'm not gonna get them any results.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'm not gonna get any results. Your ability to be a good trainer is can you get people to follow through on a program?
Absolutely.
So have you heard of the keto diet?
I have.
Do you recommend it?
I'm not a fan of it. It's not.
You blow up as soon as you get off it, right?
Yes, it's not long term. I always say it like this: take any diet you're
decision.
Any diet you're doing right now. If you do that for more than a year and a half, if you possibly might die, then that's probably not a good diet. Probably not a very good sustainable choice.
No.
I'm all about health and longevity,
Absolutely.
right?
I remember hearing rumors of was it the astronaut diet or something? I forget. It was like ice cream.
It was
and,
1,000
But hey,
diets.
man, listen. Fuck diets. Let's live a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Let's just work out and be
Make
smart,
it to the
right?
gym.
Make time, and make time
just
for a
don't
green
eat-
smoothie.
don't
Or
eat like shit.
make sure you fast so that way you can have this beer without being like,
exactly.
damn, I'm
Good
just
idea.
I'm
I'm trying that
just
tomorrow.
myself right now.
Fasting feels good.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
it really does.
I'm gonna
It
try
feels
it.
good.
Find out.
It's really weird, but you have to work out. Like if you just fast without
if
working
you just
out,
fast, you feel
it
kinda
doesn't
weird.
feel good.
After
But
like
if you
after
work
like a
out-
good 3 weeks to a month of doing it, like when you first do it, you
It's
feel kind
normal.
of super
Yeah.
hungry and you're
Yeah.
like a loss of energy. But then once you get, humans aren't meant to be eating all day.
Right.
No, they're not.
Like we're not meant to be these consuming creatures.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people eat to
The
live.
opposite. Right
Yeah.
here.
What do they say?
Exactly.
What's the saying?
Eating themselves to death.
Italians eat to live, but everyone else lives to eat. Or the other way around.
Other way around. Yeah. I kind of want to dive into the business side behind the aesthetics.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned you had the app.
Yes.
Right. I kind of want to know, and I'm sure our listeners want to know, like, how did that all come about? Who did you tap for resources? How did you get to build the strategy behind it?
And how'd you market it?
Right.
Like, how do you get your people?
Yeah. So, with fitness, being a trainer, we know the best form of marketing is word of mouth. But with this platform, it's a little bit different. Now that I'm going online and I'm looking to scale it a little bit more.
Right.
And this is just the first part of me scaling it.
Okay.
I want to really create a brand and a lifestyle of this thing. They always talk about how Gary Vee runs his whole like sort of thought leadership company while still running his other companies. He's creating all that content while he's on planes, while he's like in a mix of
in between
right?
things,
And that's why I see Hustle Aesthetic, because with my other company where it's a startup and I'm scaling a piece of technology, that's a whole different landscape than just building a brand and a service.
Yep.
So what I see is building a full brand out of this and letting everybody know. I don't care if you have if what you do, the time that you have, your health is important. And you don't have to trade that for success. And kind of building a brand out of that and scaling it in so many different ways that I can think of. But right now I'm just scaling in terms of complementing the programs of my regular like Buffalo local clients that I train in person. I train over at Jada Blitz training studio in Williamsville. But complementing that program as well as offering that program to people that I know through mutual contacts. LinkedIn, I have social media for it. Do a lot of digital marketing, the whole sales conversions kind of thing, putting out, giving a lot of free advice for people to be able to get myself more visible to people because
Absolutely.
you know then they will see me as the expert. Like, okay, you know,
Right. You need
I
to give
listen to
them
this guy.
advice
This
so
stuff
they take
helps,
it
and
and
you
use
know,
it.
and oh, here's actually what he does for people. So let me check it out. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
The one issue I see with this fitness thing is how you're only one person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you do scale it, how are you going to manage keeping that interaction
Right.
between
The
customers?
real time kind of.
What's your plan to go about that? You're
So,
just going to kind of
again-
wait and then try to train people under you and hire them to, you know.
In a way, yes. So there's also different tiered programs. There's programs where, you know, I have like there's a tiered program where I have app support versus a tiered program where I have like coaching call support. Then there's a tiered program where I'm more like a personal trainer in shoulders. So you know,
So you can probably raise the price almost on
Right.
if you
for the
had
more
to. You could,
for the
specific
more
and
accountability,
everyday-
I would,
right,
yes. Because at
exactly.
the end of the day, people are paying for your time.
But
In
people
terms-
need that, you know. People
people
need
do.
somebody to kick them in the ass. I found going to the gym with somebody, it's way more
Yeah,
beneficial,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely.
So
What I
you're
also
like that
found-
digital version of that.
like
Yeah.
with the 3D printing and design, when I first started, my price was really low. And I did that so I can get more
Yep.
in my portfolio and more
Exactly,
experience.
right?
And
Absolutely.
then slowly I had to raise it up because I
Yeah,
became
you
so
got to.
busy where I'm like, listen, I gotta
Absolutely.
I'm still cheaper than other
At
people
some point,
doing
you got to
it,
know
but-
what you're worth as
Right,
well.
for
You
sure.
know, you got to understand your craft, and it's very intimidating. Like a lot of people don't know, especially in being a personal trainer. I did a lot of research on the industry before I went into it.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is underpricing yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
People,
You
at
have
the end
to
of the
lose
day-
money
At
and
the end of the day,
right- yeah.
people are training, like especially for in-person training. People are training for you.
Yeah.
Like yes, they want to get in shape. Yes, they want you to get them in shape, but they're training for you.
Right.
So. What's the price on you? Are you going to undercut yourself? Are you going to be a cereal box trainer,
Right.
or are you going to be the trainer
Right.
for this specific
Exactly.
person?
And a lot of times, like in the beginning for Tikiam at least, we're now reaching out to different like bars and restaurants
Mm-hmm.
where we can, you know, get them to come onto our app and our website and show, you know, they're having like game day specials. So before you go see the game, you can go to the bar and
Yeah.
get whatever, get some food or whatever. But we do it for free for them right now, you know.
'Cause you
just
gotta build
to-
those testimonials, you
Exactly,
gotta build that
just
trust, yeah.
building it up. So do it free.
Absolutely.
or-
Yeah, I
and
trained
do
a
what
bunch
you
of
can.
people
Right.
for free when I first started.
Absolutely, right.
You have
Just so
to,
they can
otherwise
kind of
you-
build it up
and you
together.
have something to say like, oh yeah, I've done this project, I've done this, I've
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
And you
And-
have something to show for it where
absolutely.
it's not just like, all right, what have you done? Like, how do I know I could trust to pay
Exactly
you?
right,
yeah,
and it's the key to
absolutely.
doing testimonials is
Yeah,
give it away for free,
absolutely.
build up that that
build up,
reputation.
you got to build that
credibility.
brand equity. You
Exactly.
know? Even like I have my early adopters.
Mm-hmm.
My early adopters who are like, I like what you're doing. I'll pay for what you're doing. I have one client. Shout out to Michael Grimaldi. He's been
Hey.
training with me since August 2016.
That you're in damn good shape.
Have you had to raise price, or have you raised price on them? Do you like kind of just grandfather people into the lower price if they've been with you since the start? Because that would be an awkward
Would it-
conversation.
I mean,
Right.
at
We
the end of
gotta
the
raise our
day,
prices.
just understanding our transparent, the relationship that we have with each other that I was able to build to him is understanding like it's gonna raise.
Right.
But I've kind of, I've had, certain select things that I've done for people that have been with me. But at the end of the day, you also have to understand you're in a business
Right.
to make money. So,
Yeah.
and especially for the fact that you have these relationships with people, it becomes a very, very, very light water to walk on.
Sometimes I feel bad making money off people, and then because like
That's the personal
I
touch.
end up-
Everybody's human.
dollars per hour, I probably don't make that much. Like when it comes to 3D printing and design, because I
How
care
much
more
hours
about
you
the
put into
impact.
like product development and doing these things?
So
and
much.
I know,
But like
right?
it's like I want to make sure I give a good service, good product, because it's my name, it's my
Right,
brand.
Right,
man.
exactly. And it's at the scale where it's
you just
small.
got to determine
Right.
that runway though. You got to
Yeah.
make non-negotiables. Be like, hey, listen, after I've helped this many people
Right.
with 100% service, I gotta raise my
Yeah, like
prices.
I don't even have time to do the work.
Exactly.
You know,
So
it's
I'm going
simple.
to that now, but like
Cutting
I don't
yourself
want to
short.
go too high because I do this because I want to make the impact on and help people out bring their products to market. Because that's like what I love.
Right.
I love
Exactly.
doing.
Doing what you love.
But you know,
And then that's just
Educate.
talking scale. Like when you figure out a way to scale, you figure out a way. Maybe it's not the time for money. Some people charge very low rates
Right.
to train with them, but they sell a whole lot of nutritional
Yeah.
content or what. So the way you scale it is based on
And if
what
you-
you think is going to be the
And
most
that-
suitable for you.
That applies to everything because you can see that there's some people that like even speaking to the public, like some people get paid 30 to 50,000. They're not getting paid that, and they didn't just start getting paid that. They probably started really low or almost
Right,
free,
yeah.
Right.
and then
They got
people's
the
like,
gigs,
oh
they
wow,
built up
he
there.
knows his stuff.
Right.
And
You got to
then
build trust.
They
That's
know
it.
they're like eventually, like I feel like it exponentially grows. The people that trust
Yeah.
you and know who you are, and
Absolutely.
and
Word of
want you
mouth.
to, yeah.
Number one marketing
Imagine
tool.
getting paid
Do a good
$50,000
freaking service and get some word
Listen,
of mouth.
at the end of the day, if I bring somebody in an online conversion funnel versus somebody said he's a great trainer, go talk to him.
Absolutely.
That closing rate is going to be 99% for the person
and
who's referred to
it's
me.
pretty much free.
Right.
Like,
It
it's
is
free.
free. Yes.
Yeah, it's like
so
free marketing.
I do believe in those old business practices. Do a good job.
And I get a lot of people
create
recommending.
extraordinary customer service, get people good
Business
results.
is really simple, honestly.
Yeah,
if you dumb it
really
down,
is.
like it's easy. It's
Just make
be
sure the
good with
customer is
people
happy.
and
That's
do
it.
right. You know,
Yeah.
be ethical and be good with people.
Absolutely.
That's really it.
That's it.
Because I have a lot of people that refer their friends to me.
Right.
Like, oh, I have a guy that designed my product. I didn't go to market, but he did a really good job. And,
Right.
like, I don't know. I've like, even
goes
on
back to,
1
like,
hour
the Tom
design
episode,
jobs,
right.
I've helped people, you know, get their manufacturing plan set. And like, for me, it cost me probably 10 to 15 hours, but I only build them for 1 hour. And like, I try not to do that every time, but like sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm going to really like help this person out and make sure they get to market. Because if I feel like they're going to put in the work to get it to market,
Yeah.
it means more to me to
Right.
have that invention
You-
on the
you know,
market
'cause you
and
see-
in my portfolio. Like, I designed
Right.
this invention that's being sold in Walgreens.
Yeah.
Like, if I can get, like, I don't do it for all products because it's literally impossible. Like, there's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
Right,
I mean, there's some
exactly.
good products, there's some
Yeah.
good bad products, and it's worth whatever you're, advertising good
Yeah,
products.
exactly. So, what about your other business?
Now,
Okay,
what else
When
you
did
doing?
that start?
ColdSpace. ColdSpace started with a 90-second pitch competition. I thought of it on the spot.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yes.
90-second pitch competition. All right.
Where was that?
Yeah,
UB?
what
At
was it?
UB,
Where was it?
yes,
Okay.
at UB.
The elevator pitch.
Yes, so they had an
Elevator
elevator pitch
pitches.
competition. I did it the year before, like did not do good, like froze up on stage, was like
Yeah.
stuttering. Next year came around, I was like, yo, I gotta, come up with a great idea. I'm gonna win this.
What
thing
did you
this
do
year.
to do the difference between the first year and the second year?
My partner Hanu, well, he is not my partner. He just helped me pitch it through, and what I did was I didn't focus on the script. I just focused on the main points I needed to hit.
That's my biggest advice, right? General, very general.
Don't describe the technology. Just
Right.
describe what makes it relatable to people.
Absolutely.
So what if I told you that ColdSpace is a personal refrigerated food storage locker that works just like a campus zip card? You can simply
Right.
rent it when you need time to keep your food cold.
That's awesome.
Utilizing
It's
an
like,
app.
what if like I bring my lunch to school and I'm going to be there all day? I get there at 9 o'clock in the morning. Where do I put it? I can't put it in a main fridge.
Right.
the problem.
I'm not going to carry that shit around
That's
all
genius.
That's the problem, and it's a very simple problem. But
And I've
There's
never
stuff that
seen
can even
anyone
expand, to like anything, honestly, like amusement parks. Fuck out of here with
yeah,
amusement
there's
parks, right?
different markets. There's a lot of different
tons
markets.
of
for it.
markets for something like that.
Are you in anywhere right now?
Right now we're working our way into UB with again. So we're in a product development stage.
Cool.
We've done a lot of customer validation for the last year. Just coming from we started with the elevator pitch competition and then went over to Panache. Did a New York State business plan competition. Took third there. Did the Western New York regionals to get to New York State business competition. Took first there. We did.
So
the
did you
UB
win prize money for this?
Yes, we raised up to 10 grand through just business competitions.
A lot of
Cool.
people say it's not a lot, but when you're starting from nothing,
Oh yes,
like,
it's
that's a lot
yeah.
of
When you're
money.
starting from nothing,
do a
it's
lot
a
with 10 grand and
You
it's a
can,
lot of startup.
10 grand has stretched us this far.
Yeah.
But it's also taught us to be very resourceful because we know we only have 10
Absolutely,
grand.
exactly.
Like all of our engineering work has been done for free so far.
Through someone that has
Major
equity
key.
or
No.
Bootstrap
Really?
that shit.
How did
Through just somebody believing in our professor at UB, just believing in what
professor?
we're doing. Yeah. And
mechanical engineering one?
electrical.
Electrical.
And him just saying, I'm gonna hand you over to my master's students.
Right.
And they're gonna help you build the preliminary
That's awesome.
basics of
Networking's major
technology.
key.
And how did it come
Networking
out?
is major.
Like, is it all designed and like, do you have one?
The preliminary technology and sort of interface is designed and functional. Yes.
and you have it manufactured and you have
Not many. No, we're not on that runway to commercialization just yet. So essentially, it
How are you gonna get this? Because you said you're doing a beta. So how are you gonna get this into there if you don't have one manufactured already?
Well, we have one.
Oh, you have
when
one.
You say
Okay.
manufactured, I think like going.
Like
Oh no,
a
not
production
scale.
line.
I'm just talking about like
just
making
built.
one.
Yes,
building one.
yes, we have one. Yes, we have a unit built.
Wow.
Yes.
And it looks like a finished product and everything.
Looks like a halfway finished product.
That's
It
all you need.
looks like a testable
That's all you
product.
need.
Nice.
How much
as
did that
long as
co-
it functions,
As long as it functions.
How much did that
exactly.
cost you, and who'd you have make it?
Cost us under $3,000.
Wow.
We made it with students, some mechanical engineering
at
students
UB?
and electrical engineering students. Yep. Yeah, just kind of building a brand and a story behind our business and being able
Right.
to get people to want to be a part of that story.
So
was
did you
a-
have
was
to
a big
pay?
thing for us?
Did you have to pay anyone, or was it a project for the engineering students?
Mostly a project for them.
That's sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
That's the way
you just
do
had to
it.
pay for like materials and stuff. I'm guessing, right?
A lot of materials we actually didn't pay for. Electrical engineering materials, the professor that is helping us out pay for it.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The networking goes a long way. Huh?
But see,
Yeah.
that goes with like, because if you had $100,000, you would have just paid.
I would have
for it.
been like, oh,
You would just
yeah.
blew the money.
Exactly right.
So we
Where
have
you
nothing-
found out the hard
yeah.
way, like
Yeah.
you
You gotta be. Listen, man. You gotta be scrap. Listen. Here's Professor
Major key alert.
Professor Bob Newbert. He always gives me this major key alert.
Right.
That's for a fact. And it's like real entrepreneurs are just scrappy, hungry,
yeah.
and are willing to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
and they're resourceful. And
Absolutely.
I think that's
no money and we love to talk.
Right. No money and we love to talk. You know, we love to persuade.
Absolutely.
And it's how
that's
well
what it
you
really
can
is.
persuade is whether you get money or not.
And when you have no money, you learn that, okay, I got to get better at this,
Exactly.
or I'm not going to get to where I need to be.
So on the last podcast, he said something that, you know, I've never heard before and I loved it. It was ask for money and you get advice. Ask for advice and you get money.
It's clear.
Yep.
Yeah, it's major key.
Right? Like I still like ran through my head and like,
Yeah, man.
because I was going to do this whole week I was doing market research. I'd love to hear how you did it. We talked a little bit on the last podcast, but I'd love to see how you did it.
Right, absolutely. Market
but I went-
validation's huge.
I went around to all the gyms. I went around to like probably 11 or 12 gyms in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I went north, and I'm going to work my way around me. I'm going to use like go to the South Towns next week.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that, you know, just going in person was really helpful, and I learned a
Absolutely.
lot. And I didn't go there asking for money or people to buy anything.
No, never.
I asked for just advice on how I can make the product better if they would like if they could see them using it.
Yep.
And I had some people, their reaction was like, I want to buy this right now.
Right.
And I feel like if I went there saying like I want to sell this to you, they would have, you know,
Right, exactly.
they
There
would
was
have just been
nobody
turned
sell them
off,
anything.
leave
Get
right
out
away.
of
I'm
here
like,
with that.
hey, I'm here. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I really just want your opinion on this
I
new product
swear.
I'm bringing to market.
Which is
And
the best way to do it.
People
Yeah.
love to be a part of things.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. They're like, I have a say in the product you're about to bring to market.
Right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. I'm sure that's kind of the same thing that you kind of went around. So kind of going with your two businesses, what are some things that you really did, you know, to help, you know, win and go far and like do well so far?
I understand it very quickly that every loss is not a loss. And
Never.
my losses I've learned from my losses some of the most valuable information that I have today.
Sometimes your losses save you from even bigger losses.
Absolutely.
That's true. Everybody
Absolutely.
gets so bummed out when it's like a loss. But it's never a loss. It's a learning
You know,
situation,
it's
you know, and
minor
you
L, you
go
know.
better last time.
I've thought I
Right.
lost
Take
on
the L
certain
and move
deals.
on.
I'm like, wow, if like that deal went through, I would have been screwed right now.
Exactly.
Like,
You
my
could be in a
life.
totally different trajectory or different path that's
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
good for you, you know, or your
Absolutely.
business. That's
Yeah, because I
awesome.
would have launched the shaker bottle like 3 years ago.
Right.
And the deal fell through, and I was bummed about it. I'm like, how am I going to do this? But you know what? I figured out a different way to do it that ended up
Even
being
better.
better.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has more of a market, and there's nothing
Right.
like it.
Losing
So,
is great to do. So what are some losses that you've taken, some of those big old L's, and you've kind of learned from?
Taking business competitions a little bit too seriously.
Okay.
Business competitions are nothing but like a beauty pageant for your business plan, which
Right.
is usually most likely 100% always going to change.
Yeah.
did you do the pitching?
Yes. Yes.
Were
me
you
and my
nervous
partner.
before it?
I've become very fond of pitching.
Yeah. I
don't
was
get
nervous.
It
anymore.
gets
only did
fun,
one,
you know.
I
Once
was
you
nervous.
get over your
It
first
becomes
maybe
very
two
fun, yeah.
times, it's good. It's
It becomes
fun.
very fun. I've always been pretty extroverted and pretty.
Right.
I've always been, I'd say, a good conversationist. So pitching became more of an art to me that I keep on
Right.
wanting to build, and
Yeah.
things like that. Really being able to pitch like it's a story. I always like in these different business competitions, I've always seen like these engineering guys come in with this great technology, and all they do is talk about the technology, and nobody knows what
Nobody
the fuck
knows
they're talking
what
about.
the technology is.
And
right?
I'm like, dude, you got a great product, but you just gotta sell the story behind it, and like
Right.
in ways that people are
And
gonna understand.
humans
These judges just watch 40 pitches before you, man. They're like, they're not trying to do those numbers. They're not trying to do any math in their head
Right.
right now. They're trying to
Exactly.
figure out this technology. Like, you know, they don't have time to just go on Google and research what you're talking about. You know, just
Agreed.
kind of making your pitch very relatable. People don't buy into your business, your product. They buy into you.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the
Right.
day, if you can show you the strength behind your team, your passion behind the project, and really show the story of how you got to where you're at right now, I think that serves a long way in business competitions.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
kind of like that whole Shark Tank, you know, mentality.
Yeah,
You don't
absolutely.
know, people don't invest into the business. I mean, the business might be great, but what's a business behind a shitty leader?
Right.
You know,
exactly.
it's all about the
all it takes is
better
one.
leader.
All it takes is one decision for your business to not be good.
Right. Exactly. Right. It
know,
could
so-
be that make or break moment.
Yeah,
You know.
and it's like if you're not a good person behind your business,
Right.
or a good strong you know, leader and owner behind your business, then that's that one decision that makes your business, your product not adequate, is going to make you and your business as a whole not adequate.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you see as kind of some of your next steps, some things that you're going to start moving towards?
Next steps, very calculated. Running this beta test at UB campus this semester and next semester.
Okay.
Getting this data. You know, we have a couple of different business models. Nothing definitive yet. It's all going to depend on
Right.
the data that we get from student engagement,
Absolutely,
as well
right,
as the
feedback.
development of our technology as we get that data back. But I definitely say once, you know, I think we're gonna start looking for our first like past bootstrap, past business competition funding rounds.
You go the investor route.
Yes. We're thinking about going the VC route.
Okay.
Things are still up in the air. This is also a company that can, depending on what the market looks like and what our technology pans out to be for research and development, it could just be like a debt equity company, or but essentially what we're looking to do is test this thing out on campus.
Absolutely.
Put our market validation to the test. So we've done a lot of customer validation these last couple of months, starting at the student end, but then going into the actual business end.
Right.
So with our product, when you hear, okay, a personal fridge locker for community students to store their food, you may ask questions like, oh, that sounds great, but what about things like campus dining? Are they going to feel like infringed upon that you encourage people to like save money and not buy their food? Or like, what about this and that? And you have all these assumptions, and it's great that we get asked those questions, because those are the questions that buyers are going to want to know.
Right.
And so we actually just finished the iCorp site program, sponsored by NSF and at UB, and essentially it's a B2B customer validation program.
Right, because that's mostly who you're going to be selling to, right? As
possibly, yes.
And it's not even just schools. I mean,
it's
any
not.
company.
It teaches. So essentially,
I would
what
use that
this
shit at
program,
Disneyland.
There's so many different things we can use.
Right.
But
refrigerate your beer while you put it at the
Do a
beach.
podcast.
No, literally though.
Refrigerate your beer so it doesn't get warm at the beach.
Right.
There's a lot of different applications that this thing can build into.
That's great.
But part of this program was understanding your assumptions, like making 3 business defining assumptions about your product in the market, and going out and testing these assumptions. So what it taught us to do was not to go out and try to pre-sell our product, but try to go create the assumptions around our product, right? What are the needs of a business for them to want to buy into our product, right? For them to see a need in our product, and go to that business and ask them questions. What are the problems they're dealing with? What are they seeing in the current changes in technology?
And you learn new stuff, because that's what happened to me this week. This week I learned new stuff I didn't even think about.
We almost pivoted. I'm
doing a rebrand because of that.
We're having a slight pivot in the service. This is going to be more than just being able to store your food. And I'm not going to go into all the points of technology as well, because it's a very simple idea. So I don't want people to know everything we're planning on doing.
Don't say
anything. By the time they go through what we're going through, what we did to get to where we're at, to try to sell our idea.
You guys will live it in 2 years. Don't worry about it.
Don't even.
But like just figuring out what are some of the biggest problems they're dealing with in terms of maybe it's community student retention for buying food, or maybe it's what departments have the problems. So it's like for campus dining, campus dining on college campuses are very margin driven. They're looking to do things that are gonna automate what they're doing, and as well as bring more students into what they're serving, right? And how can ColdSpace serve? ColdSpace can serve as a complement to that, possibly. You have to figure out these assumptions, and you have things like student life, where their main focus is to make sure the students are happy, and ColdSpace may serve as a valuable product to them, because they're saying, no, we don't have any community students dealing with this problem anymore. Well, let me know more. So it's kind of going around and kind of feeling out the assumptions around your business, because a lot of times you get so caught up in passion about the technology and the vision behind your business that you kind of there's a lot of fallacy in assumptions that you're making, and then you figure out, you bring this product to market, and you get your first funding round, and your LLC is 500, 600 grand in debt, or owe somebody 500, 600 grand, and your products come surface, people like, that was cool, but I'm not buying that.
Right. That's the major shit we talked about in the last episode also, is like everybody loves it, but then when you ask them, are you going to pay for this?
Right.
That's the major
a totally
question.
different story. Yeah. So you have to sort of understand the assumptions around what is going to make your product worth paying for.
Right.
Are people dealing with enough problems that draw them to your product? Like it's really understand your market and all these different things. So it was just an amazing program, and we've been doing customer validation. I've talked to over 100 students myself. I was the type of dude, when I was in a mix of ColdSpace, I would just go up to any student I saw with a thermos or a food bag on campus, like, yeah, I see you bring the food. Can I talk to you for a second about this product that possibly may be coming to campus, and just kind of get that very qualitative data.
Right. It's the best part. Just go up to anybody.
Yeah, and it has helped serve. We are building our product based on what our consumers, what our buyers say, what our buyers and our end users say, not around what we think it should be. And that's the sexiest part. That's what I like about ColdSpace, because me as an entrepreneur, I run 2 businesses. One is a service, right? One is a service and a brand, where I'm really curating what I want it to be. I understand that market.
And
whereas now,
product.
Now I have
I'm
this
doing the
piece
same
of
exact
technology
thing as
I'm
you.
trying to scale. and I don't know anything. There is really no marketing because it doesn't exist.
Right. I'm going through the same
building
exact
that.
thing right now.
There's no
Same
marketing
exact
because it
thing.
doesn't exist. So now it's like, okay, there's a lot of things sexy about owning a personal training brand, but there's nothing sexy about creating vending machines to let people store their food.
Yeah, there is, man. Because
So I'm
no one
gonna
else is
listen to
doing
what
it.
the people say because
Absolutely.
it costs a lot of money to try to create those vending machines.
Right.
To
You got to go where the market is.
Right.
And some people, like we're looking at it now, is like you might win in some ventures, you might lose in some ventures.
Yeah.
But that's about being an entrepreneur. Is like you're not going to get kicked
and knowing,
down.
and also
know?
knowing when you cut your losses, and that's why customer
Absolutely.
validation is so important.
But see, there's
Right.
two ways you can look at it. You have no competition in there for one or two reasons. Either no one thought of it, or it's just a bad idea. It's one of two.
Right.
And most of the time, I feel like it's a bad idea. But in your case, I think that just no one thought of it.
Being the experts that we
It could
are.
be-
I mean.
yeah. Well, no, personally, I
Right.
think it's a great
I
idea.
love it.
Like, I would have used
honestly,
it multiple times.
Agreed. Absolutely.
And, you know, I'm going through the same exact thing you are. Because my product with the shaker bottle is a disposable shaker bottle that's filled with water. It's a water bottle that mixes protein. So you just pour protein into it, and you can mix it up, and then you recycle it after. Or reuse it a few times. Like me, I would probably use it for a week and then recycle it after a
Right.
week. But, you know, shaker bottles get smelly. They get disgusting after a while.
Right, and you want
So-
to wash that thing, and you gotta
Exactly.
build, you gotta undersee, you gotta validate those assumptions around the product.
Exactly.
like-
And then find out if people are willing to pay for that every time.
absolutely.
So, but back to what I was saying, it's either a really good idea and no one's thought of it, or it's just a bad idea and there's no market for it. Because there's other people that come out with stuff similar that they aren't a water bottle, but they're disposable. But I mean, they don't work really that well, and you know, they're doing really bad right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But then again, there's also a very so one thing I've noticed from me just I haven't sold a single ColdSpace unit, but I can tell you how many personal training programs I've sold. So being an entrepreneur, being a salesman, because that's what you are as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're a salesman. You're selling a dream. You're selling a product, a dream,
And yourself.
right?
Absolutely.
One thing I've learned is that the one double-edged sword you may see with customer validation is sometimes people won't know they have a problem until it's in front of their face or until it's sold to them. So sometimes you really don't have a great idea, but you know how to sell it.
Yeah.
And when you know how to sell
Think
it,
of how many shitty products
like-
you bought that were just like
You know what I'm
really
saying?
bad. You're like, why did I buy this? But you wanted to buy it at the
because you got to
time.
think about that
Basically
too. Like,
every ad
so
seen on TV
right now
product.
you have this you have this lean startup methodology. Right?
Yeah.
I hope I said that word right.
Methodology.
Yeah, methodology. I think that's
Methodology.
It.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I think it's
Methodology.
methodology. Methodology is like something to do with.
I
Like,
think you're right.
like
You're
giants
right.
and shit
Yeah.
like that. But
Zeus
like you
and
have this
shit.
lean startup methodology where it's all about, especially in this technology,
Yeah.
scaling piece of technology phase, all about you got to go through this customer validation cycle. But a lot of times it's like, what about just selling your product?
Right.
If you can get one person to utilize it, maybe other people will see the use for it then. How many stuff that we have that we don't need at all?
Yeah.
It was just sold the correct way.
The other problem that goes with that, though,
huge.
is that you might not get a repeat sale, and you might not get what we were
That's
talking
true.
about before. Is people might not spread
Right.
the word in a good way; they'll spread it in a bad way.
But then
which
that
right
could
away.
also be if you have a good product.
Yeah.
That's just business, though.
Yeah, so you have to make sure you have a
about
good
when it
product.
comes to
Yeah.
customer validation and knowing if your product should come to market. Sometimes the market may tell you, market may not give you a good enough, say for you to say put the green light on it. But
Right.
if you can sell that product and get some treadway in the market that way,
Yeah.
then one, that shows people are buying it, and it may be, it may become some sort of trend. It may become something that's
Absolutely.
easily adapted
Right.
that you couldn't foresee, or that customer validation couldn't foresee, because humans are creatures that we're constantly innovating and changing the way we live every day anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And
you
you
have
know-
this double-edged sword with customer validation. Like, yes, make sure you're not going to spend $500,000 on research and development a product that nobody's going to want, but also, like, can you sell?
Right.
Yeah.
Can you sell a product?
Yeah,
Can you
it's
get a
hand in
product?
hand.
Can
the
you
other
sell
thing,
a dream?
I think when you first sell it, and I don't have a lot of experience in this, but I envision it like when I'm starting to sell Flex Order now. It's important to get the feedback from the first people you sell. So
Right.
if
Absolutely.
you have any issues, you work it out before you sell to the mass, and everyone
Exactly,
hates
and
it.
everybody
And that's
hates
what
it.
customer validation is all
So
about.
it's
Right.
almost like sell it in a sample, get the feedback from every single
Right.
person, and make sure there's no big issues.
Right.
Because if they're having issues, on a large scale, you're going to have the same
Everything.
issues.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what are some things that you've done, like talking to the people? What are questions you ask? What are some things you want to know that maybe our viewers or listeners might want to do for their own validation?
What other problems lead them into the problem that you think your business solves?
Right,
So for
elaborate.
one, right, when you're a community student, you don't want to leave campus because finding parking is a bitch. Right?
Parking.
So you don't want to leave campus, so you ain't going back home to get any food.
Right.
Right? Then the second problem is, okay, well, you're on campus for 8-9 hours. You got to eat. So did you bring food from home? You got to buy food.
And are you a freshman and do you have a meal plan?
Right. Do you have a meal plan versus do you not have a meal plan?
Right.
Do you think food is too expensive versus you don't really, you'll rather buy it?
It's more for people that are living on, like,
do you think the school food is good enough or culturally accommodates the foods that you eat? All these different things that say, okay, well, now I'm kind of starting to niche out who my customer actually is. Kind of start to pick up that customer profile. Like maybe what's in ColdSpace customer profile is not a freshman or sophomore because they have meal plans. It's mandatory for them to have meal plans. It's a commuter student who deals with not wanting to leave campus because of shitty parking, who has those large Tuesday, Thursday blocks where they're on campus from 8 a.m. to like 9 p.m. because they got organizational behavior from 6:30 to 9:30 at night on a Tuesday night, because I don't know why that UB School of Management does that.
Yeah.
But
what you guys
I
have to
had
do?
night class too.
Yeah, the UB puts some of their blocks at the night class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, like really late at night.
Nighttime. I only went to that class like twice.
Is it? You think it's because of people that have day jobs and are coming back to school?
I have no idea. All I know is that Tuesdays and Thursdays when I commute student, I will be on campus from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Right?
So that sucks if you
shitty
live
day.
off campus. If you live on campus, you just go back to the dorms or
Yeah, you
Right,
go back
exactly.
to
You live
dorm,
off
take the
campus,
shuttle
you
and
live far
chill.
away,
And you
you
live,
gotta-
especially when you're a commuter student and you're actually so I was a commuter student, but I had like an apartment off campus versus just being from Buffalo and being a commuter student. That's even worse because it's not like, because now usually I've lived in the dorms, I've made my friends, I've gotten well acclimated with the university with the university community. My friends, I might have joined the organization, whereas we all know how hard it is socially being just a regular commuter student.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you have to force yourself to really go out your way to make it feel like you're experiencing something socially in college from being a regular commuter student. So it's like with that, it's like, okay, well, even with them, they know, like they're sitting at, they're sitting on a bench for like a couple hours in a day, like, damn, I don't feel like going out to make any new friends today. I'm just gonna do this. So I'm gonna get, now you got all these little micro activities that building up around a problem that leads them to our product.
Right.
And it's simply, you know what? If I can just have a place to store my food during the day, I'm going to save money. I'm going to save time. I'm going to be able to eat healthier, and I can spend time doing other things. It's going to give me an ease of mind. It's very simple. Versus like, oh my God, I know I'm gonna have to spend $12, or maybe they don't want to. Maybe they want to buy their food on campus, but they just don't want to wait on those long lines.
I would use that. And it was like junior year, I quit my meal plan and I lived off campus, and
That's
like
exactly
you
what
have
I
to
did.
go home and cook and do whatever.
I crunched the numbers sophomore year when I was living in Grinder Hall.
Yeah.
I crunched the numbers on a meal plan. And I said I can spend $50 a week and have an abundance of food in my in my dorm, and I'm gonna save $1,100 a semester. That's what I did personally.
Nice. Okay.
I know every time
So
I had the
the facts behind
Chinese
it.
food
Yes,
there.
that's where it all started. That's when I
Right.
started eating healthy, and
Absolutely.
that's where it kind of the problem built up for me,
Right.
because I would have to carry around this huge isolated fitness bag with all my meal prepped meals in it, and I would have a class in NSC and then go all the way to Clement and be like, oh
Exactly.
shit,
You don't
I
want to
just
carry
forgot.
that around all
Nobody
day,
wants to
carry
or
it.
you
Right.
forget it somewhere.
Yeah,
And you
it's
have
a
to go
huge
find it.
like how do I feel trying to go talk to a girl and I have this huge lunchbox in my hand? I just
Right.
feel like it's just killing my
Like
allure.
Mom wrote
You know
you
what
a
I'm saying?
note
It's
in
just
it, real
it's just
cute.
killing my game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, hey, I gotta grab a seat for my lunchbox too.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like that's just, again, that's another micro problem
Right.
that leads people to my product. So
Yeah. And people want to carry as least stuff with them as possible.
Right. Absolutely.
So I love what you're about.
thank you, man. I
Where do you
appreciate it.
see yourself in 5 years, 10 years?
You personally.
Me personally, 5 years, 10 years, one, definitely still learning.
Never stop learning.
never
I
stop
like to
learning,
say,
yeah.
if you're not learning, you're dying.
Yeah. 5 or 10 years, hopefully making a little bit some I mean, I don't know, I'm not doing this entrepreneurial thing for no reason. Hopefully making some decent money.
Absolutely.
But definitely really working hard on scaling my businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Scale, the quicker you can get to scale, the quicker you can actually see
So you're
success.
telling
and
me
see
you want to
freedom
be
in
an
your business.
overnight millionaire?
Nah, I don't think so. I think ColdSpace is going to take a lot more time.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
I think in 5 or 10 years, I see myself scaling my brand of Hustle Aesthetic, while still building up the ins and outs of the ColdSpace business, expanding in the market in different ways,
Right.
And in different, finding different niche markets to expand on.
But like you said, I feel like, we're getting kind of feel like you're going to be following your passion.
Absolutely.
Doing
And
this whole
it's not
workout
going to take
thing.
overnight. It's going to take a long
Absolutely,
time.
it's going to take.
And you're up for the
while.
challenge.
I'm up for the challenge. You know what? it's funny because like I was in a professional fraternity when I was an undergraduate, Delta Sigma Pi, and you know, so everybody's always on a job hunt, you know,
It's always
close to May, graduate, you know, so that's and like I had this idea, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna be my own boss, and that's essentially what it started for.
Yeah.
But then one thing I learned about entrepreneur, this is just kind of off task of what I was about to say. One thing I learned about entrepreneurship is if you can't put your vision in your business, if you can't make that bigger than yourself, you're not going to be a great entrepreneur. You're not going to make it through. You're not going to have the stomach for it.
Right.
If you don't understand that what you're trying to build and what you're trying to do is bigger than yourself, and if you're not connecting your why to other things, it could be anything, but more than yourself.
You'll never be able to make that transition.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that transition
You
got to be
gotta
very.
rely on people.
Yeah,
There's
you
different
got to.
circumstances
Yeah,
outside
right.
yourself,
So
like-
being self-made is a complete facade. There's no
Right.
such thing as
I
self-made.
agree.
Everybody makes you as an entrepreneur.
So you tell me I can't
I like
be
that. Everybody makes
Everybody
you.
makes you. You know what I'm saying?
make-
Yeah.
There's no such thing as self-made. That's just a super narcissistic facade that you don't work for anybody. It's
Right.
cool not working for anybody, but you know it's not cool making no money in a week.
Deadass.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not cool. Or having making $1,000 in a week versus making $500 in a month. Like
See,
there's these beginning steps of entrepreneurship. It's a humbling ass process.
So you're 22, I'm 24.
Yes.
I wish I had your mentality when I was your age.
Right, 2
Well, I
years
mean,
ago,
you,
we
did,
went so much further.
you also
right?
did buy a house when you were my age, so
Yeah,
it's
but
something you was
you know
doing
what?
right.
If I were to go back, yeah, but you know what? Anyone listening,
yeah.
don't even buy a house. It's not worth it because it's keeping me trapped here.
Your tenants upstairs are gonna hear you.
Whatever.
Fuck them.
No. Well, it doesn't even involve them. But either
Yeah.
way, like, I feel like since I've bought a house, I'm trapped in Buffalo right now. Yeah, I can rent it out, but I'm always gonna have ties
So
here,
you limited
or I'm gonna lose a lot of money.
to grow.
Yeah, because I could go down to Miami and go like do product development. Like, why stay in Buffalo? You know what I mean?
It's pretty nice.
I think Buffalo's a really good place to like
No, it's
start
great.
to grow because of the community sense. But at some point, like you got to expand
But
outside.
but don't get me wrong, it's great. But you know what I could have done? I could have crashed on someone's couch
Right.
and saved a shit ton of money because I have a mortgage. I have a responsibility. I can't just quit my job and focus on my business because I know I have to make that mortgage payment every month,
Right, you gotta
or
make
my
the
house is
money.
going to get taken away. I'm going
Right.
to lose
Fact.
all the money I have into the
A
house.
lot of young entrepreneurs have to have that second job. That
I
actually
think
pays the bills.
yeah,
you know?
if
Most
you're
definitely.
planning on being an entrepreneur, and what I've learned, and I wish I knew, try to take out as little debt as possible.
Yep.
Right.
Try to spend as
Grassroots.
little money as possible
Yes.
because then it'll expand
More
your
mobility, more
opportunities.
opportunities.
Especially if you're
Agreed.
making good
Right.
money. Don't think because you're making good money you could spend that money.
Yeah,
think
nah,
of it as like
absolutely not.
you're making good money.
'Cause then you realize
have more
how
money
much
to spend on
money-
your vision.
Right.
to be
right.
rich, you have to live broke.
Right. People
If I
don't
could
people
do-
don't understand revenue versus profit.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
Right? Like, oh, you're making great money, you make all right, well,
Yeah, you
let's
gotta
look
pay
at how
those
much your
bills, bro.
expenses are for your business.
If I could do it all
Right.
over again, I wouldn't have bought the house. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because I was paying. I mean, like, I have tenants, so my rent is, a lot cheaper than. I mean, my mortgage is a lot cheaper than it would be because I have a duplex and I have people in my unit too. But at the same time, it's like I could be crashing on someone's couch for a few $100s a month.
Right.
Or like I could still have a bedroom. Like I crash on a
Yeah,
couch. I
that's
feel like
super
it's a
cheap.
term, but you know what I
cheap-
mean.
pay cheap
like
rent,
I could be
right.
spending a lot less and not have that headache. Like
I
don't
mean,
have my
listen,
parents
everybody's got their
house,
own
but-
journey. The way I
Yeah.
see it is going back to building off of what I was saying, like being in senior year, I got my chest full, I won a couple business competitions. I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I'm
Feels
an
good about
entrepreneur.
yourself, you're
I
on the
wish
road.
I was where you're at when I
but
was
check this
22.
out though.
Did
But
those
here's
two,
where
right.
here's where I really got tested. Getting a couple job offers at some different companies.
Right.
Recruiters reaching out to me, and then seeing a bunch of my friends get acceptance letters. Like, ooh, 69. Ooh, 80. Ooh.
You know
So I
what,
see
though?
these numbers. I'm
Hey,
like, but
this is why I say 10 years they're gonna be still have the same
They're gonna
paycheck.
still be at 80,
Right.
and you're
Driving
gonna be
the
at
same
8
car
million.
they
but
took
you
a
know,
loan
but
out.
just think, short term. I was like, I start doing the numbers.
sounds
You
good
know,
at first,
when you're an
right?
entrepreneur, you always do the numbers.
You
Like, how
want-
much do I have to? If I want to make
Yeah.
100K this year, this is how much I have to make a day. I used to always do that, and I'm like, whew, okay, I got to really put in some work. And then just seeing like, oh, you're gonna be getting that next year.
Right.
You know what though? That's
It gave me that anxiety. Like, fuck,
But
am
that
I
instant-
am I making the right decision right now?
But that-
and then I read a Gary V. I read a Gary V. quote on Instagram, and it was like, if you're 22, you got 5 years to fuck up. You can go get a corporate job at 27 and have a
Great
phenomenal
life, right.
corporate
Yeah,
person
absolutely.
life.
Just don't
And I
do
was
drugs
like,
and fuck up that bad.
yeah,
Right.
word. But I'm like, yeah, that makes fucking sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's people turning their lives around at 45 financially.
Absolutely.
We know if you
right.
jump to that instant 70 grand, that's just going to be a distraction to get, the 140 grand that you're going to get 3 years later.
It's an opportunity.
So you're taking the easy way out.
It is an opportunity.
Get the money right away.
And at the end of the day, guess what? I wake up every day knowing that if I don't make a goddamn sale, if I don't create these habits to do this to push my business forward, I ain't gonna get paid.
Right.
So it makes you build this machine inside of you from the inside out. And it's a very humbling experience.
Right.
Like, man, ego. Whew, I've learned to give that thing up.
Drop that thing. Right.
Drop that thing. You gotta drop that. That thing leaves the door. Yeah, that thing sits outside the door with entrepreneurship.
Right. Even if you're up here,
because you're gonna lose a lot more than you're gonna win.
You are gonna lose a lot more than you win, and your ego is something that at this age is still very thriving inside of you. And growing, building relationships as an entrepreneur, trying to utilize leverage and trying to get people to believe in you when you have that ego and you see things very short term and very, very small minded, very in terms of yourself, right? And it becomes poisonous towards you building your brand and building relationships with people, because people are what build your brand and what build your business.
Yeah,
nothing else. Not a product, not a piece of technology. It's people.
People that believe in you.
That's it.
Absolutely.
And when you're an entrepreneur, you start off trying to get people to believe in you before the money, before the scaling and the systems and the this and the that and the expenses and the taxes. It's like, okay, I'm trying to get people to believe in me.
Right. They're gonna trust you. Exactly. You're the face.
And if you got a huge ego behind yourself, people are gonna see right through that. They're gonna see that you're just a dude who wants money, or you're just a dude who's an asshole. So if I was making $80K a year right now, comfortably at the moment, because I'm 22 and $80K a year seems a little bit of a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd probably be a lot more of an asshole than I am right now. You know what I'm saying? Just because I would feel like people don't matter.
Absolutely.
Like, I make my money already. What I need to be nice to people for? What I need to. Then you realize like this. You have this very self-defining moments with entrepreneurship. Like these very self-defining moments.
It's like growing from the bottom and working it up versus being born into the money.
Right, exactly.
Totally different.
It forces you to really grow into who you are fast, and you'll get to know very soon
if
entrepreneurship is for you or not. That's why you got all these people out here selling this motivation. Like, thought leadership has become such a corny space now. I used to do a bunch of motivational stuff, like especially being a fitness trainer.
Think about all the memes,
and then it's like it just became so corny, because it's like, everybody who's in their bed watching Netflix is cooking up mad motivational quotes right now,
and I don't know why.
And it's like,
why are they doing that? Are they trying to monetize it, or like
they just think it's again? You know what? It's instant gratification. It's temporary. It makes them. It's people don't have time. So here's what you learn about human beings. We are extremely insecure, no matter who we are.
Always. Right, I see that.
And thought leadership just is a. I feel like it has evolved into a way of people kind of figuring out that they're doing out of their insecurity, or possibly thinking about doing out of their insecurity, and just want to voice it to everybody. Like, not everybody. Listen, when you're an entrepreneur, motivation is brushing your teeth. You wake up, you brush your teeth. You wake up, you're motivated because you got to get shit done.
Absolutely.
Right. My messages are more about actionable steps. Like, what can you do right now to change this?
Right. You got to be a doer.
I can't create a mindset for you. That's something that you're going to create. Everybody's going to have their own journey in life.
Right.
But the motivational space has just become so corny. It used to be kind of dope.
It's so oversaturated.
When it first started, absolutely.
When you're a entrepreneur, that's why there's a difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur. A entrepreneur who's a person who wants to live that entrepreneurial lifestyle. Like, I'm gonna wake up, I'm listening to a couple Gary Vee podcasts. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work for like 2 years, and I'm gonna have a private jet and speak like Grant Cardone at the end of it. Right? You're an entrepreneur. All that stuff seems very enticing to you, and then you realize like, I just got rejected from 12 people today.
Right.
I didn't make any money today.
You gonna quit or you gonna keep going?
I have to give up something in order to like.
Well, then you just learn from that and find out why you quit or why you didn't get that deal.
Right. Yeah,
and then you figure out, all right, what can I have done next time? You become
very actionable, and then the habits that you have to facilitate that become something, right? Those become who you are. People out here trying to sell habits, like, you can't sell habits. You know exactly what you need to have to get to where you need to be. You start to understand that throughout your journey, and you build habits to facilitate that. I know I gotta be constantly on point. I gotta be confident. I gotta be willing to pitch my business at any second. I gotta be willing to close sales.
You did a good job pitching today.
I gotta be appreciate
you had on point. You had me sold. Well, you still have me sold.
But just like understanding, like, these are the constraints I'm gonna have. This is what I need out of myself. So I have to facilitate those habits to maintain that. So I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and know that I'm gonna go to the gym at 4. I'm gonna wake up, get to the gym by 5, get out by 6:15, go home, meditate, hydrate, and start my day.
Right.
So do all my emails before 9 o'clock. Then I'm gonna be doing, whatever blocks of time I have for that business.
Right.
Whatever I'm gonna be doing, I have set. But just understand, like, okay, I'm gonna be feeling energized. I'm gonna be feeling energized that whole day because you know what? I gotta close 10 sales, or else I'm not gonna have enough money to pay my goddamn bills in the next month. Right. So I gotta do this week. I gotta do this today. So I gotta have the energy for
ultimate
it.
Hustle.
And now, my habits are already ingrained, so I can facilitate that. It's just a matter of executing on the job.
Absolutely.
So are you in bed by 9 o'clock if you wake up at 5? Or how many hours do you try to get
I'm usually in bed by. I try to get into bed by 9:45. Usually end up being like 10:30 because I like to catch up on my reading at night.
Right, yeah.
And then sometimes they be hitting like 11, man, 12. I be like, God, I wake up in the morning just like, damn, bro. I'm gonna be like, listen, I'm gonna have to give the weight to rest today. Just do some cardio. Like sometimes, it's just understanding, like, there are those nights where you ain't gonna get. I try to get my 6 solid. That's my perfect point.
6 solid.
If I get over that, I feel like a little tired and groggy throughout the day. If I get under that, I'm feeling fucked up throughout the day.
Mine's 8, and I never get it.
Well, exactly. Mine used to be 8, but then I realized I'm never going to get it.
No, I mean, like, I usually get like 4.
Yeah.
On average, I'm probably at 6.
Go to the gym in the morning.
It's just right. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you got to take care of yourself, man. I always say it like this. Listen, if you bought a brand new car, it's like this thing is gonna run me for 5 years and never got a goddamn oil change. See how long that car is gonna last you. Like burn out.
That's facts. Yeah.
Like,
all right.
I want you guys to go and look into a story about these CEOs who did like crazy shit and like destroyed their companies, whether it's through fraud or just bad decisions, and see like from a personal level what was going on in their life at that time. Right. Yeah. Maybe because they had a divorce at that time and they weren't healthy and they were a CEO, or everything just came crashing in. Maybe if there was a little bit healthier, they could have emotionally got through that anxiety. Like these things it makes sense.
People are people.
Like people break down.
Right.
Like you're gonna break down. I've broken down plenty of times as an entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to say I've broken down. Like I've broken down. Crying. Like what the fuck am I doing right now?
Right.
Like I need to go get a job. Like I'm not good at this.
I gotta pay the bills.
Plenty of times, right? But it's like. You learn to build that tough skin. You learn the way I see it is I do a lot of understanding into like what is mindfulness for an entrepreneur, and one thing that I read up one time when I was doing some research is like top CEOs train like athletes because they know that they're dealing with a lot of uncertainty, anxiety, other people. They got to perform very high. In terms of like just straight up execution, they got to be healthy. They got to have energy.
Right.
So they make the time.
Leading a whole organization,
My hair started turning gray like probably 5 months ago when I was super stressed.
Like I understand that something that makes you an entrepreneur is like that little thing about you that kind of crazy. Like we all got that one thing.
Everyone's a little crazy
because everybody's a little bit crazy, but you don't have to be doing Adderall and Coke every night just because I've been up for 56 hours and I'm proud of that. Your body's not proud of that right now.
You know what?
It's gonna show you sooner.
How much work did you get done in those hours? Because you're probably half of them you're half asleep.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it's like stop putting the facade that to be this, especially in this tech space, you got to be this like coffee all night, 1 hour sleep, just barely made it to this.
Too.
Like take care of yourself, man. Fuck all. I'm not supporting any of that. We all know as entrepreneurs things are a little bit different.
I think it's also you have to pick and choose when you do that. Because
that is true. But
there's nights where I have a deadline where I have to get this done.
And that's why
I have to get this done. I can't sleep until I get done.
And that's exactly why I created Hustle Aesthetic Fitness.
I love it.
Right.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
This is a new question.
All right.
So if you had I just thought of this. If you had to describe your entrepreneurial life in one quote, what would you say it is? Your own quote.
Ooh. I'm gonna start doing that every week.
Damn, I think it could be a good
quote.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Days Samaro and they tell me what the quote to put in the rainbow right now.
It could be a good podcast title if you come up with a good one.
Oh man.
Now the pressure's on.
Give me. Can you repeat that for one more time?
So if you had to describe your entrepreneurial life in a quote, what would you say that quote is?
Sometimes you just gotta go balls deep.
I can't put that as a podcast.
I love it though.
But I love it.
It's so good.
I can't put it as a podcast.
That's true though. You think about it because like people will be like, I have this idea. I'm gonna do a little bit of it, see how it catches.
Nah, don't work.
Nah, you gotta go all in.
Yeah. You have to go all in.
I love it.
I'll make that the podcast. I'll have it
You
there.
have to
Go
go
all
all
in.
in. All right, that works.
My grandmother watches this.
Well, they might think of like basketball. or
Right,
something when they
exactly.
think about
Right.
that or something.
Any last quotes, advice, tips, anything you want to shout out to
Yeah.
our listeners who are up and coming
Quotes,
entrepreneurs
advice.
doing it
That are-
now? Anything?
Yeah, that are like, you know, in the stages you are, maybe a little bit earlier.
Okay.
What do you
Right.
recommend they, you know, prepare for and watch
Okay.
out for?
Right.
Listen to people. Listen to people in terms of the people who are your customers. When you're taking advice from gurus or people who don't have any money or time invested in your business, take it with a grain of salt.
And form your own opinions around it.
Yes, form your own opinions around it, but leave your ego out of the opinions. Be scrappy and be resourceful as fuck, as much as you can be. And lastly, make sure that what you're doing aligns with your values in life, because that's what's going to give you longevity and the push and the passion behind what you're doing.
All right, awesome.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, I guess that's it, guys.
Wrap
Thanks
it
for
up.
tuning in.
You already know.
And
Thanks
yeah,
for coming on. I appreciate
thanks for
your
coming on.
time.
Sweet,
and
sweet.
you gave some
And-
good advice.
if
Thank you,
you're
man.
listening on, you know, YouTube, we also are on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Leave us a review if you think
And
this is
vice
good
versa.
content.
Subscribe.
Help us out. Subscribe. You know, we're trying to grow this organically.
Absolutely.
We may do some promoting,
Right.
but
Yeah,
it's
let
not
me
really
know.
useful. So
True. Check out ColdSpace and Hustle Athletic. Aesthetics.
Hustle aesthetic, yes.
Hustle Aesthetic. Oh,
and if you don't mind, tell a friend, share this on your social media.
Absolutely. My social media for Hustle Aesthetic is Trained by Hustle. ColdSpace, we're on Instagram. What is the bit? ColdSpace LLC. My personal Instagram is Tice_the trainer, and we're also on Facebook as well. So
check them out.
check me out.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
one, guys.
Thanks,
Till
guys.
next
We'll
week.
see you later. Go balls deep.
Money stacking up, talking trash, better back it up. I'ma make my money while they laugh at us.